Egypt, God gave us three gifts. First of all, He gave us the manna from heaven. Then He gave us the water of Miriam. And because of Aaron, He gave us the cloud of glory, Nana covered. And the Nana covered is the Sukkah, actually. So there's a big shine in the Gemara if the Sukkah in the desert was mamish a Sukkah, or it was just clouds. Like every Jewish family had a little cloud surrounding them, and like the real shelter was a cloud. What's happened? I'm sorry.
It's okay.
So why do we celebrate only the Sukkah? Why did we celebrate the manna also? You know, Sukkah, we're thanking God that He gave us shelter in the desert. If you say it was just clouds of glory or it was mamish made out of wood. But, so one of the answers for all the rebbes, the saddest thing is about the manna we were complaining all the time, remember? We didn't like the manna, we didn't like this, we didn't like this. About water, we were always complaining. The only thing we never complained about was the Sukkah. So, you know what it is? There are a lot of people, God gives them so many gifts, right? But when you keep on complaining, it loses already the joy of getting it, you know, like, imagine you give somebody a gift, say, you bought me this, I was hoping you give me something else. Then you say, give out, you know, who needs the whole thing, right? But anyway, I want you to know, Sukkah is one yontiv where we celebrate, besides the holiness of having a shelter in the desert, we celebrate that we never complain. It's already like, and here comes the deepest depth. Why do people complain all the time? Like most of us said, you know? The more mistakes we are making, instead of being angry at myself, I sit and complain, right? Imagine, God forbid, let's say yesterday I did something wrong, let's say, God forbid, right? And this morning, Naomi or Sheila or Tzvi give me a bagel. I look at the bagel. Everybody knows I want an onion bagel. You know what's going on here. What do you want, right? Because my heart is so heavy from yesterday because I'm angry at myself that I did something wrong, that I'm just looking desperately to fight with somebody. But instead of fighting with myself, I'd rather fight somebody else. And it's so good to know, you know, people who really are to cleanse themselves from mistakes, they don't fight. It's not worth it. I'm sorry, they don't fight. You know what? Because let's assume, would you give up $1 million for this fight now? Have you ever seen? I was once in a butcher shop. Never again, kosher butcher shop. Have you ever seen those women, the way they fight over chopped liver? If it's a pound, I think it's one little bit less. You gave him too much, gave him too little. And bones, those bones are not good for soup. I said, I'm getting crazy. Within 5 minutes, they're fighting over the most stupid thing in the world, right? So how much is those bones from the chicken worth? Another $1, right? But what they are losing inside, their whole dignity, their whole soul, right? So you see what it is. Aaron HaKohen, Anana covered. You know what Aaron HaKohen did? What's the cloud of glory in the deepest way? Aaron HaKohen gave us a sense of being mamash a prince, of being a king, being a queen. You know how, God forbid, you know, have you ever seen two homeless people fight over a garbage pail? Nebuch, right? Nebuch, Gewalt. Can you imagine? I'm sorry. Can you imagine how little they think of themselves, how low they are? They can stand and fight over a garbage pail because maybe there's some food there, right? Nebuch, Gewalt. So on Sukkot, Aaron HaKohen gives us back our deepest dignity, right? Anana covered, mamash, the clouds of glory. Actually, glory is not such a good word. Covered means mamash covered. Honor. Let's put it this way. We were learning it last week about Yom Kippur, and I want to chew over the old stuff. But on Yom Kippur, it's clear to me how important I am to God. Gewaltig am I important to God. Because you have to realize, whatever we do here, the same thing happens in heaven, right? We celebrate that God forgive us, right? God also celebrates, because the whole holiness of Yom Kippur is because in heaven it's also a Yom Tov, right? That means the Yom Tov is that God feels our Gewalt, because when you're angry with each other, you're not so close. So after Yom Kippur, humanly speaking, God is celebrating that I'm close again to the Yidden. So you mean the master of the world is celebrating that he's close to me, piece of garbage, piece of nothing? So obviously I'm something, right? So on Yom Kippur, it suddenly becomes clear to us who we are. You see, Reb Aaron Kalina says the greatest sin in the world is when you forget who you are. That is the greatest sin in the world, right? Because if you don't know who you are, right, nothing, right? I can walk on all four and think I'm a dog. So, I want you to know, suddenly, hey, the whole outlook on life changes. And we'll come to it in a second. What am I putting on top of me? I would say put gold, put silver. I put on top of me everything I was stepping on all year long. What's schach? Broken, how do you call it, branches, right? Because I cannot put on the schach a branch which is still connected to the tree. It has to be disconnected, right? Unbelievable, right? I would say Sukkot, when I celebrate how connected I am to God, the most beautiful thing is I'm putting myself under a tree, it's connected to the earth, you know. Right away, all those people with the earth, Mother Earth, you know. No, it has to be disconnected. It has to be broken. It has to be disconnected. And I'm putting it on top of me, right? Suddenly this is my connection to heaven. And I realized, first of all the things I was stepping on all year, maybe they were the most important things in my life. It's awesome, right? You know, on a personal level, you never know who your best friend is, right? You never know who your best friend is. And it's usually the people who you step on who are your best friends. Like, it's not to be believed, right? It was so crazy, you know. I cannot take you because I don't know any of your personal life. A few years ago, I was like a little bit sick. I needed a pacemaker. Today I wouldn't do it, but then I thought I'd do it. Anyway, everybody called me, I'm good to this homeopath and this homeopath. I said, no, I don't have time. But anyway, I'm lying in the hospital, right? Okay, a lot of people visited me. But you know what was so heartbreakingly true? That all the people who I didn't think are my friends, right? If they would call me, I would say, you know, thank you so much, I'm busy right now or something. They came day and night to take care of me. Unbelievable, right? You mamish don't know who your best friend is. And on Sukkot, remember we were learning it 2 weeks ago, that Truah, you know, the three tones of the shofar. One is here, just one straight tone, right? Then comes Shlomo, a little bit broken. Then comes completely broken. And then Tekiah again. And the word for Truah, the completely broken tone, is also, Truah's Melech Boy is also a word for friendship. Troy, right? Be a super top Hebrew, right? That means, when do you know who your best friend is? When you're completely broken. Let's put it this way. I'm a millionaire and I'm making a bar mitzvah for my son. I'm writing. How good. Yeah, it's mamash. I didn't want to say anything, but normally you have clear prophecy. Normally you're the cutest besides being a prophet. So here, friends. So the Gemara says on Sukkot, in the Torah, when we talk about the Sukkah, we always talk about one Sukkah. You know, usually, we have a few million Jews since Mount Sinai, so I should say in plural, sit in the Sukkahs. It says per Sukkahs, one Sukkah. Unbelievable. And you see, when we build a Sukkah, it's not another Sukkah. Everyone is building the Sukkah in which God took us out of Egypt, right? Because according to our holy tradition, we were all in Egypt, right? We were all there. You know, the word Yisrael, Israel, is the initial, hey, Shabbos, whatever it is. Listen, you know what you have to do? Can you move a little bit further? Because you're blocking me off a little bit. You don't mind, brother? You promise? You know what? I think we should knock off one fast melody to warm our hearts.
Shlomo, did you just say that we were all in one sukkah, more than one sukkah?
Yeah, okay, Mashili. The Torah says Sukkot without the bobov, meaning the sukkas. Yeah, gewalt. Yeah. You know, the translation is in Sukkot in plural, but never, what do they know, right? Okay, let me just finish what I said, you're right. You know, the word Yisrael, Israel, listen, brother, as much as alone, you have to move away also a little bit. Yisrael is the initial, if you know Hebrew, Yesh Shishim Riboim Oitzis Torah. The Torah has 600,000 letters, not unbelievable? And 600,000 Jews walked out of Egypt. But the truth is, 3 million walked out of Egypt. But the 600,000 are root souls, right? You know, a lot of people have the same soul, sparks of each other's soul, right? So those 600,000 are like torches, and then one torch might have, 5,000 little sparks, right? Tell you something awesome. Yerushalmi says, when you marry somebody who is not of the same letter in the Torah, then it won't last. If you marry someone whose letter next to your letter, right, a little bit close, so it looks good, but then peters out again. Unbelievable, right? So you see what it is? The 600,000 souls who left were like, you are, right? Okay, so we had 600,000 sukkahs in the desert, you see, hard to figure it out. But when I'm building the sukkah, I'm not sitting in a new sukkah, I'm sitting in the sukkah where I was sitting for 40 years in the desert. Right? Unbelievable. What was the most special thing in the sukkah in the desert? You have to realize that, you see, even if the Torah says sometimes that they were complaining, it's very clear in Ishbitz, it was not just beyond us, right? Because it was so high, right? Anyway, there was so much, we just came back from Mount Sinai. In Mount Sinai, between Mount Sinai and Mashiach is coming, there'll never be so much love between people, right? Where's most hatred coming from? From jealousy, right? You have a better house than me, you make more money. In the desert, you had no business, right? They didn't have to pay taxes. You didn't have to go to the drugstore to get yourself shampoo. Do you know whenever a Jew wanted to take a bath, you know what happened? Simply a cloud came down from heaven, went over you, and washed you clean. And also, do you know that our garments grew with us? It's awesome, right? I mean, everything, all the comfort we had in the desert. And it says even, like when kids wanted new toys, they would just put their hands in the clouds of glory, take out the toy they want. I mean, so maybe to us it sounds ridiculous, but it's, I mean, we were just, everything was a miracle, right? Living in the desert and everything. So in the Sukkah, when we sit in the Sukkah, it's mamish, it's the one house. Good morning, Libby. Libby, come on. It's the one house where it's so much filled with love that the esrog, the lulav, there's the 4 species, the 4 kinds of Jews, and mamish sitting there. And just, okay, we'll come to it in a second. Let me just sing one thing. And I think I shared it with you. On the moshav, one Shabbos morning, someone calls me out from the davening, and that there's a lady outside who wants to talk to me. I go out and I say, Shabbos, how are you? I saw you last night. She seems to be here for the whole Shabbos. You know, in former good days, sadly enough now, we're really overfilled. In former good days, we had 3 houses for guests on the moshav. Anyway, looking for a rich man to build a hotel. Anyway, so I said, I saw you yesterday. She says, yes, let me tell you my story fast. She says, I'm upper class American Jewish princess. You know what that means? That means my husband and I never go on a vacation together. You know, that we always, he goes to India, I'm going to Alaska. He goes to China, I'm going to Japan. Hey, brother, what's happening, brother?
Okay. I just want to get to the back.
Okay, do your thing, brother. This year I decided I'm going to Israel and he's going to Acapulco. Can you imagine how much love there is between them? Go out. So I'm coming to Israel and I'm a wealthy woman. I'm checking the King David and get myself like a balagola. I'm getting myself a taxi, hire him for 2 weeks, and he's driving me around Israel. I don't even know one person in Israel. Not even one person. Nobody talks to me, and I don't talk to anyone. My taxi is driving me around. It's very beautiful. This morning, Friday, wherever we were, I said to the taxi driver, you know, it's kind of sad. I'm here in Israel, and it's Shabbos. I don't keep Shabbos in America, but I'm in Israel. I wish someone would invite me for Shabbos. You know, it would be beautiful. So the taxi driver says to me, there's only one place where everyone is invited. This is in Modin, in my village. You don't have to make a reservation. You just come there and everybody will throw themselves at you to invite you. Get a little bit frightened, but anyway. So the taxi driver comes. Anybody see remembers the moshav? You weren't there yet?
No, not yet.
But some of you were there. Sheila was there, right? No. Oh, it's just a Che. Che is an old member of the tribe. Anyway, so you were there, Stephen? Oh, good. So you remember the long street, one street and another street. He lets me off in front of a house and leaves me. Standing there with my suitcase, don't know what to do. Before long, the door opens and people come and say, are you hungry? Are you thirsty? And the kissing, you know. Everybody's kissing me, people that don't know their names, they don't know my name. And then the most disgusting thing happens to me. Men with beards can't stand beards. Men with beards come out and kiss me, you know. I want to run to the bathroom and wash my face, but it doesn't look nice. Anyway, and all this, you know, too much. Anyway, they feed me, and who knows what they do to me. Everybody asks me, do you need some more? You want this? You want coffee? You want hot chocolate? You want nothing? You want... Hey, what's going on here? And then we go to Shul to daven. In my temple, if I go, it's 35 minutes, the rabbi calls out the page, and everybody is very quiet and not behaved. There, the dancing, everybody's getting wild like crazy. I've never seen anything like it, unless in a movie about the Indians or anywhere, the Aboriginals. And the more I stay there, the more I realize it's not for me. That's what she tells me. Then comes the feast. This is really not for me. Everybody is taking care of me. Everybody asks me if I want more, if I want less. I said, this is crazy. I'm not going to last here for 24 hours. While everybody's in the dining room, I run out to the house where I'm staying, get my suitcase, and I run out on the highway. The moshav is right by the highway. Get a cab, I go back to the King David Hotel. Thank God. Okay, I'm walking into my room, and I lock the door, and I sit down. And I'm supposed to be happy, right? And suddenly I realize, this is crazy. My whole life, I'm dreaming of a place where people love you not because they know how much money you have in the bank. Where people accept you just because you're a human being. And I was there and I ran away. So she said, you know what they did? I ran back, took my suitcase again, ran back. The taxi was still there. You know, it's only 20 minutes from Jerusalem. I came back, sat down in the dining room, and nobody even knew that I had left. So she says, I don't know what it is, but next year, I don't care, I'm bringing my husband here. And you know, there's a kind of couple, I'm sure they haven't held hands even before their wedding, you know. They should not, after the wedding. And she says, I have also 2 children, and I'm really not close to them. To make it very short, next year she came with her husband, and with those 2 kids, and we could mamash see them. Brother, where are you taking all this?
It's just this that she said she needs upstairs. I won't bother you no more.
How many things are you taking upstairs?
There's 4 back there, Shlomo. I think, wait a minute, 1, 2, 3. 3 back there, she said she wants 4 upstairs.
4 upstairs?
No, they put it out from the window and they throw it on top or something.
You can put it, okay.
Not like that.
It'll come down like manna.
Oh, they have already those...
Yeah, they have it up for you.
I gave up mingling in, you know. Because we have mamish, we have to learn. If someone were to ask you, if someone were to ask you, what's the difference in essence between Sukkot and Pesach? And the answer is very simple. Pesach, we are running away from evil. We're running away from Egypt, we're running away from slavery, we're running away from chobans, right? Sukkot is we enter holiness. It's Gewalt, right? Sukkot, we are already inside. And you know, from running away from evil until you really enter the gate of holiness takes a long time, right? And we made so many mistakes on the way, the golden calf, and everything went, whatever it is. See, Sukkot and all something else, you see? Pesach, I eat matzah and it's getting into me in my kishkes. Sukkot, I'm completely surrounded by it. I'm completely surrounded by it. You know, a lot of people, you see what it is? What's an assimilated Jew? He has also a little bit Yiddishkeit inside, right? But he's not surrounded by it, right? An emissary Yid is not surrounded by it, right? So Sukkot is the final, right? This is it, right? And where was I? Did I stop in the middle? No.
There's a Shofar of also here.
Oh, good.
This one, stop again.
Would you believe me? It opened Mamish by Sukkot.
Yes. Yes.
You know, in Psalms, I told you, when he would open a book when he was looking for something, and it would not open on the same place where he was looking for, he would fast on that day. Means something wrong with him. Unbelievable. The Holy Sanzer, when he needed the book, he would go to he would walk into take out the book. And if it was not the book he was looking for, he would also fast. So basically we are so surrounded by God and by holiness that why should I waste my time looking for a book, right?
I should tell you a one-sentence joke.
Yeah, let's see. Let's make it two sentences.
I just read in a Hasidic Sefer that one of the rebbes, I forget which, said that in the future, the rabbis will be on such a level that they'll decide kasher and treif from looking...
Moshe says the Sukkah has the holiness of the Beis HaMikdash. Mamish, the Sukkah has the holiness of the Beis HaMikdash, of the Holy Temple. And meaning to say, when they go into Sukkah, and Mamish in Yerushalayim, and I'm already in the third temple, the third temple which is indestructible. But you know, as much as the Sukkah has to be on, I'm sure you're aware the Sukkah has to be a temporary dwelling. Cannot be, I build a beautiful house into the Sukkah. It has to be that the wind can carry it away, the wind is strong. And it has to be that it can rain in. It has to be built in such a way that the rain can come in. The Gemara says two things. It has to be in such a way that the rain can come in, but also that I can see the stars. You know what it is in most of our houses? You can't see the stars, you can't see the sky anymore. I want you to know something awesome, which is so beautiful. Reb Nachman was standing on the window, and he sees a rich Yidele running to the marketplace. He calls him and says, "Hey Moshe, come." He says, "Rebbe, I really don't have time. I have to go to my business." He says, "It's okay, just 1 second." Comes in. Reb Nachman says, "Have you looked at the sky today?" He says, "What a stupid question, you know, I mean, he didn't say it, but..." He says, "Why are you asking, Rebbe?" He said, "Listen to me. You're running to the marketplace. Do you know that 100 years from now, will be different horses, different wagons, different people? But the sky will still be the same. Why don't you look at the sky sometimes? You know the difference between a cow and a human being? The cow always looks down. Human being always looks up. I want you to know the Sukkah is very, very special. The Sukkah, you have to look at the schach all the time, as much as you can. I remember when I was in bobov, the bobov rebbe mamish sits to hold him, doesn't take his eyes off from the schach. You know, the schach is, how do you call in good English schach?
The branches.
The branches up there. Okay, so I want to say something. You know, the Sukkah is very holy. I think it's a little bit coarse, but it's awesome. the Ropshitz, one of the rebbes, was traveling, stopped at an inn, and then, they have this outhouse, because they don't have a bathroom inside. He goes to the outhouse, and he couldn't do it. Thought maybe he's sick or something. No. He goes back and he says to the innkeeper, what's this outhouse all about? What is it? He says, I'll tell you the truth, it was my sukkah last year. And I decided to make an outhouse from it. Obviously, he says, I can't do my thing there because it's a holy place, right? But anyway, I want you to know the sukkah is, meaning to say, even after sukkahs, is a very holy place. And you know what the essence of the sukkah is? That I can go out on the street and make the street holy. Where are all my mistakes from? My mistakes come because I really think the street is stronger than me, right? Let's face it. I'm little Yidele, I have a yarmulke, I have tzitzis, and he has a big world stronger than me. What do you think the world is stronger? I can walk on the 42nd Street and build a little sukkah. Gewalt. This is the holy temple here. I can sanctify any place in the world, right? And you see on sukkahs, we'll come to it in a second, it's mamish utmost realizing how important I am to God, how important am I to people, and how much power I have. But not in order to be, God forbid, arrogant, but just, listen to me, you'll tell me, can you lift up this bagel here? I say, no, I don't think so, I say, listen, I'm very humble. I don't really think I have the strength to lift up the bagel. What will you say? Don't be stupid, you have the strength, right? The same thing is, we don't know how strong we are, right? We think, this is too much for me, this is too much for me. Why do you think so little of yourself? On Sukkot, what is clear to me, that I'm stronger than the whole world. John the Fan. That I'm stronger than the whole world. And you know what? Listen, if I were to tell you, I walk up to Tzvi and I would say, listen, Tzvi, I decided I'm going to fix the whole nation of the Japanese. Take me to a therapist, right? Not on Sukkot. On Sukkot, we are bringing 70 sacrifices for the world, for the 70 nations. That means basically I have the power to fix the whole world. I have the power to be the whole world. And when Yaakov went on the first exile, the first exile when Yaakov Avinu went with his children to Egypt, 70 people, corresponding to the 70 nations of the world. To let us know that before you go into exile, you shouldn't drown there. You have to know that one Jew can fix a whole nation. If you would be on the level, right? Not if I'm a schlepper Jew and I'm afraid of the world. Right? Awesome, right? Okay, let's start. Okay, he says it's a mitzvah to build the sukkah right after Yom Kippur. And even if it's Friday, it's a gewalt, like this year, because it says mitzvah shabol yola tach mitzvah. Now listen to me. Why am I not rushing to do something good? Because I don't realize how important it is what I'm doing. Does God really care if I build the sukkah on Friday or on Sunday? That's right. I only go there Monday night, right? So I'll do a little bit later. Imagine I would get a call from Brother Clinton. Washington is anxiously waiting your building of the sukkah. United States is waiting, right? So what's the United States waiting? Heaven is waiting, right? So I'm rushing. Right after sukkah. I don't know if, I'm sure you know it, maybe we didn't learn it yet. Mamish, all the big rebbes, maybe they ate a little bit after Yom Kippur, maybe not, but they ran out, Mamish, Well, all the rebbes would at least put one nail in the sukkah, do something. And he says, even if you think you're a very honorable person and you think it's below you, it's not. But then everybody knows it's such a big mitzvah to build a sukkah. Mons is free. Why don't we make shechyono? The whole Gemara on it. And the answer is because Sukkah's night, when we sit in the sukkah, we make shechyono, and that shechyono covers already also the building of the sukkah. I don't know how your house looks like. I'm sure it looks clean. The sukkah has to be so clean and so beautiful, because it mamish is the holy temple. And I'm sure you do know that all the big Yidden would mamish put everything, all the gold and silver, whatever they had, everything they would put in the sukkah. And sukkah, we have noise sukkah. We want to make the sukkah as beautiful as possible. Okay, the truth is, which is basically according to the Gemara, you only need 2 walls, and the third wall, just a little bit. You know what it is like? We always think we don't have enough. Not true. Even if a wall and a half is missing, right? I'm still okay, right? But basically today, we are really making 4 walls. But you have to know that it's okay, you see, if I would learn now the laws of the schach, would take too long because it's so intricate. I want you to know, Masechta Sukkah, the laws of Sukkah, the deepest is not the word. I mean, they are like the depths and about the walls, how much the walls have to be connected to the schach. Imagine you build a sukkah, and then the schach is only not really reaching the walls. How far can the schach be removed from the walls? There's hundreds of laws. But right now, for us, we build with 4 walls, and we make sure that the schach reaches the 4 walls. Basically, you are not permitted to make the schach from something which is not broken. You are not permitted to make the schach from something which is not broken. Because that's the whole idea. All the things I was stepping on, and all the things I thought they are broken and they're not connected, I realized that they are the ones who connect me to heaven. Deepest connection. And also it's very important, in the sukkah, the shade, you say shade or shadow? Shade. The shade has to be more than the sun. I'm sorry, what?
Sunlight.
Sunlight, yeah. What do you want to say, Naomi?
I remember last year you said something really beautiful about schach, that you said, a lot of people when they feel broken feel there's no place for them. And they're really, what can they do? They're just broken, they can't contribute anything. He says, and that's why when we have schach, we absolutely choose the broken ones. Because what we're doing is really elevating it and saying, yes, you can. In fact, you can have the most important part of the sukkah. And you find something really, really important. And don't think just because you're broken, you have nothing to contribute.
Naomi is the best. I think you should take over the whole class. No one remembers better than I do. Do me a favor, when you remember anything else, please always stop me, because you're the best. How come you remember, yeah?
You know how few Rebbe's there are in the world that have followers considered that remember the Torah that the Rebbe says over?
I know.
A year later.
A year later.
I remember I asked this one rabbi, what are you talking about? He says, you always say the same thing because nobody remembers anyway. Yeah?
During what time of year did Jacob go to Egypt?
I'm sorry, man?
You said Yaakov went to Egypt with 70 people, but what time of year did he go?
Hey, only Marine could ask such a deep question.
The reason I ask is because, you said 70 people, but when I was living in Egypt, there's a place south of Gaza called El Harish. El Harish in Arabic means a sukkah, but it also is a sukkah with light in it.
Do you know that Goshen, I don't know how it's called now, is Goshen still called Goshen?
No.
Pharaoh, when Sarah left, he gave her, like real estate, he gave her like one of the suburbs of Cairo. And it belonged to Sarah. So when Yaakov came with his family, they just went back to the place which belongs to Sarah. See, that means the Jews basically, they didn't need Egyptian to give them permission to live there. They moved in to what belonged to Sarah. Yeah. So anyway, I want you to know that according to our holy tradition, Yaakov Avinu left the world on Sukkot.
Wow.
Yeah, because we will come to it later. Yaakov's, Avraham Avinu, his holiday is Pesach, because Avraham Avinu is the first one to get out from the pagan world. First exodus out of slavery of Egypt, of all evil in the world is Avraham. Shavuos is Yitzchak, because unless you're ready to die for God, you don't live for God. So Torah is mamish. You have to be ready to give your life to God 1,000 times. So this is Shavuos. God bless him. God gave us the Torah. Sukkot is Yaakov, because it says when Yaakov Avinu left Laban, it says the Yaakov knows the Sukkot. Remember, Vayishlach Yaakov Avinu. Do you know what Sukkah is? That Sukkah is like wherever I am, that's where it's home. Yaakov Avinu is the one who left Israel when he came back. So obviously it looks like around Sukkot's time. So it means, let me just finish. You see, Yaakov Avinu, when he traveled beyond time and space, right? Even the Baal Shem Tov, right? So he didn't have to schlep himself for so long. After Yom Kippur, he left Eretz Yisrael, and he arrived in Egypt. Although I'm sure if he would have traveled ordinary, it almost have taken weeks. Who knows? Yeah. Avraham Avinu, when he left Choron to go to Israel, also he traveled from the Kvitz Saderach, It says he left Choron and he was already in Israel. They left and they came. Obviously they left, they came. They came right away. Right? But anyway, so why do you ask just like this?
Because this place, El Arish, I'm sure you've heard of it, it's south of Gaza. It's a big place on the coastline. It used to be part of Israel, and it's called Jacob's Hut.
Could be.
El Arish in Arabic means the hut with light that comes through it, but it's attributed to Jacob's hut. So maybe he made a sukkah there.
I was in Cairo I was in Cairo 1982. And when I called up my kids, so I said, Neshama, I'm in Cairo. Neshama got all frightened and said, is Pharaoh still alive? I said, no. That's true, no? Anyway. Yeah?
Didn't Reb Nachman also die the same day of Sukkot?
Third day.
Third day?
Fourth day.
And the Holy Hunchback died the second day of Sukkot.
Yeah. Right. A lot of rebbes. Okay, you're not permitted to build a sukkah. It has to be. You're leaving already. You have to.
I don't want to.
Okay, have the best sukkahs in the world. Thank you for coming.
I'm leaving too. I'm so sorry, but I'll come back next week.
Okay, good.
Thank you. I'll come for Sukkot.
Okay, good. the sukkah has to be built under the sky. Cannot be built under a house, not under a tree. It has to be directly under the sky.
Shlomo?
Yeah?
I know it was a couple times I've had to do this, but I asked the shal a couple times. They said if the tree is like 20 or 30 feet above the sun, and there's just some branches, as long as you still get a lot of sun, that for the effort you can...
For the effort, yeah.
The effort is still okay, though, yeah?
You see what it is? If I build it under a tree, but even despite the tree, the sukkah, the way it is under the tree, the sun would be stronger than the shade. And then my schach makes it that the shade is more than it's kosher. That means the tree is not adding to the shade.
Right.
Yeah.
And they said, I think the shear they said was about 20 feet or something.
Whatever it is. The shear is exactly if it adds.
Right.
Chanoia Gewalt. Okay, let me ask something. Am I permitted to steal a sukkah? And I say, listen, Mama's God, the truth, I need a sukkah. What do you say? Not only am I not permitted to steal, if I sit in a stolen sukkah, I didn't fulfill the mitzvah. Because, without getting involved in this whole thing, there's a thing, it's mitzvah bobov. If I do a mitzvah while I'm doing an avera, then it's not, I did the avera and I did the mitzvah. You didn't do the mitzvah at all, because they cannot do a mitzvah. Today a lot of people do mitzvahs, they say, yeah, it's not so kosher, but I did the mitzvah. If you do a mitzvah via doing something wrong, then the mitzvah is not considered a mitzvah. Okay, as I was telling you already, the walls of the sukkah, the noise sukkah and everything is mamash holy, so you're not permitted to take it off and use it for something else. I don't want to say anything bad. Last year I saw someone needed a toothpick, so when nobody was looking, he reached up and took something from the noise sukkah, fooling around. You can't. You're not permitted to use it because it's holy, as simple as it is. Okay, now comes sitting in the sukkah. It's very, very important. Sitting, I don't want to say anything bad about people. It's not that after a shul, while you're in the middle of talking, who knows about what, you walk in with somebody and they offer you a little piece of cake, and you talk about the cake, from which bakery it is, and then you walk out. This is not called sitting in the sukkah. Sitting in the sukkah means you move in. They're doing sukkahs, this is your house. I want you to know something awesome deep. Listen, anybody who travels. And let's say I'm traveling, I'm going to Cairo, and I stay at the Hilton in Cairo. My house is still or New York or in Eretz, right? My house doesn't stop being my house. Same as the sukkah. The 1 week of the sukkah, I have to establish myself. I don't establish yourself on this sukkah anywhere. When you walk into the sukkah, this is my house. And even, let's say, for instance, you don't sleep in the sukkah, it has to be like one night you sleep at the Hilton, right? The Hilton does not take away from your house, right? So, okay, I have to sleep there, right? But the house is very special. A person who established himself, this 1 week, this is my house. This is where I actually live. And you have to be there as much as you can. I must eat there, learn there, sit there, be there. And it's just so good, Okay, here's this Reb Lezer, and the Gemara says that the sukkahs in which we dwelled for 40 years were just really made out of clouds. But because of that, we make real sukkahs. And Rabbi Akiva says, no, it was mamash sukkahs. That's it. So though he says, so Rabbi Akiva says like this, in the summer, when I sit in a hut, it doesn't mean really something special because everybody needs something against the sun. But in the winter, you move into your house. You don't stay in a house, right? So this time of the year, in the summer you live in the bungalow. In the winter you live in the house because it's raining or whatever it is. So when do I really show that I'm sitting in the sukkah because God told me it's right about this time of the year, when it's really getting cold and everything. Are you permitted to bring in anything not so clean to the sukkah now? Like even, when you bring in plates, okay, when you take them out, maybe they're not so clean anymore because you ate on them. But to bring in the sukkah something not washed, you're not permitted to. So everybody knows that all those big rebbe, especially the Heilige Mamish, the Heilige Triske Magid, before he walked into the sukkah, he was crying. He's master of the world. You're not permitted to bring in vessels which are not clean. Gewalt. How dare I go into the sukkah? Gewalt, master of the world.
Which map is that?
The Heilige Triske Magid. Yeah. Gewalt. Holy Bob. Gewalt. We left the head table for you, brother.
They all say hello to you downtown.
Yeah,
They all know you.
which one did you see?
Well, I forget his name. Oh, I know Shlomo. Say hi to Shlomo. He said his brother-in-law comes to my shop. So proud.
Unbelievable. It's very strange, it never says in the Talmud that you have to eat matzah with your wife and your family. Everybody has to eat matzah, so obviously everybody has to eat matzah. In the sukkah, in Mamash says especially, you have to bring your wife and your children to the sukkah. Because you have to be in the house, the sukkah has to be your house. And if in my house I live with my wife and my family, so the sukkah has to be. Yeah, it's very, the Shlomo says especially after you eat, you have to take the vessels out fast. Because you shouldn't leave anything which is not clean in the sukkah. Take them out fast, and then wash them and bring them back, whatever it is. Yeah?
Last year also, I think we said one of the reasons why we have it this time of the year and not in the summer, and one of the things you said is that, in the winter we think, the house protects us. The house is the one that's protecting us. And Mom, when we go in the sukkah in the cold, we know that because we'd be blown away just like this. We know that Mom is going to sit in sukkah, that Hashem is protecting.
Naomi, you're the best. Naomi, you better come and sit here then. Naomi, Mamish knows everything, Gewalt. Naomi, you're the cutest woman in the world. Okay, now, this is very important. Basically, imagine if a person does not eat. Let's assume. A person doesn't eat. So he says, I don't have to sit in the sukkah because I don't eat. What can you do? The first night you have to eat in the sukkah. And don't tell me stories, right now I'm on a fast, or right now I'm on a diet, all this crazy stuff. Not on sukkahs. Sukkah's night you have to eat in the sukkah. What happens if it's raining? The Koshka knows you have to be up all night, wait for the rain to stop. And if it's for 1 minute, the rain stops, you go fasting. But if you're for real, why should you wait till the rain stops? Just go into the sukkah and eat. I'll tell you something, anybody who's ever been in the sukkah knows, like, when you sit in the sukkah and even if it's raining, it's so beautiful. I was once, one night sukkahs had to be somewhere, and this person I stayed in his house was very religious but straight. He doesn't know from anything when it's raining, you don't have to be in the sukkah. I said, listen, I'm sorry, I'm sitting in the sukkah. He tries to talk me out of it, and his wife is also a therapist, and she tries to talk me out and says, because of guilt feelings. That's their favorite topic. It's not guilt feelings, just I'm going, right? So then they felt guilty, They said, okay, they went with me. It was so good.
I remember last year.
Yeah.
I think it was last year. So Erev Sukkot, Mamish was raining. And all the shuls, they finished davening and they were waiting and waiting and waiting. And they figured it's raining, that's it, they're going to eat in the house.
Yeah.
By the time we finished davening, we went into the sukkah, the rain stopped.
That's right.
And they were coming around looking at, we're sitting in the sukkah and everybody already ate inside the house.
Right. That was wonderful.
Okay, let's stop this here, won't rain, God forbid. It has to be good.
You told a story. You told the story last year also about the rich man who couldn't stand this poor man's sukkah.
That's too long a story, but it's a good story, yeah.
Shlomo, I came across recently a story about the Rebbe Zalman of Ladi, that the first Lubavitcher Rebbe, that he was sitting in the sukkah when it was raining. So someone said to him, the rabbi said that if you sit in the sukkah when it's raining, you're a fool or a simpleton. He says, if only I could be a simpleton. If only I could be a simpleton.
He says, I wish I would be God's fool. See, the Kotkara makes it more simple. If you sit in the sukkah and the rain disturbs you, then you shouldn't sit there. But if you sit in the sukkah and a few drops, how can it disturb you? It's so beautiful here, right? I said it yesterday. I'm sitting with a girl, supposedly love, right? Then it's raining. I said, listen, I'm sorry, I'm going home, right? So it's not so hot, right? Gewalt. Okay. So first night, right after you come from shul, the mamish goes straight to the sukkah, make kiddush, and here's something very important. The first night you make kiddush, then you make a bracha leishev, and then you make shechiona. Because shechiona goes on leishev also. Second night you make shechiona, and then you make leishev. And it's also very important when you say leishev, even if you stand by the sukkah, you have a special blessing. You say, blessed is God who commanded us. Commanded us is not really the good translation. Tzivona means who, in Hebrew, Tzivona means who tied us to himself. So we get so close to God. When someone asks me a favor and I do it, we get close to each other, right? So each time I do a mitzvah, I get close to God. Tzivona, right? And okay, basically as much as it is a mitzvah just to sit in the sukkah and to sleep and everything, but the bracha I only make when I eat. When I eat. And also very important,
Never when you learn?
no, said enough now.
Excuse me, Shlomo, what's the reason for the difference in the order of the brachos between the first night and the second?
See, the first night, it's the first night I'm sitting in the sukkah, right? So shechiona goes on leishev also. So I said first leishev and then make shechiona. But the second night I was already sitting in the sukkah, right? just make shechion on the yontiv. So.
Why do you make it again?
Yeah, why do you make it?
Why do you
Again.
make it second?
Because you see what it is. Why do we keep 2 days? Because after the destruction of the temple, we didn't know which the first and which the second day. So we still kept it up. Although now we know, but the Chol made really is deeper than anything. So we make shechionu, but nevertheless, on Leishev we don't make shechionu anymore. Okay, what is called rain? You know, some of the few drops, it's not called rain. You know what's called rain? Shlomo says rain is if I would sit here with a plate of soup, and the rain would mamish make it not soup but water. That's called rain. It's very good to know. You know, just a few drops. Okay, Aggie, come to brother. We have 5 chairs for you.
Forgive me.
Anything, brother. But have a good sukkah anyway, brother. Okay, now listen to this. I wish we could do it on the moshav. We can do it. I am making Neship a sukkah the first night, right? And then mamish, I stay the whole week in the sukkah. I daven there, I sleep there, I eat there. So I don't have to make Neship anymore because my first bracha and thing the sukkah covered already the whole week. Only if you left the sukkah, and I don't mean just going out to see what's going on. It has to. I leave the sukkah. Let's say if I cannot sleep in the sukkah, and I go to my house to sleep, then next morning I make Leishev again. What is it if I go from one sukkah to the other? Each time I go to another sukkah, I have to make Leishev. Because every sukkah is like a different sukkah. Okay, I ate I forgot to make the Boch Leishev. What do? I can make it whenever I remember, in the middle of the feast. Yeah.
It doesn't have to be as soon as you sit down.
You should, but if you didn't, so you do it whenever you remember. You remember anything, Norma, which I didn't cover yet?
You know what's a wonderful story of Reb Shlomo? You know the story of, the 2 rabbis who go to the sukkah with the blankets and the hot and heat.
Oh, you better tell the story.
No.
That's Rabbi
Rabbi
Zusha's story.
Okay, Nomi, by general nomination, you have to tell the story. Svi, you want to tell the story to help out? Okay.
You'll have to help me out.
Yeah.
So Reb Zusha is coming to this rabbi.
Rabbi Yeager.
Rabbi Yeager, yeah. He's coming to spend time with Rabbi Yeager in the Sukkah, so definitely he's going to the Sukkah. And as the custom is, Rabbi Yeager, Rabbi
Yeager, his name is Yaakov Yitzchak ben Avraham. So we call Yaakov Yitzchak, Yaakov Yosef ben Avraham. They called him short Yeager.
Yeager. Yeager.
Yud Bet Aleph, yeah.
Yud Bet Aleph?
Yeah. Oh. Yaakov Yosef ben Avraham.
So, the story, make it short, so they go to sleep in the sukkah. After the feast and everything, they spend together. So go to sleep in the sukkah. It was really, in Europe, was really winter, very cold. So Rabbi Yeager, he secures himself with 7 blankets to cover himself. And Reb Zusha doesn't need any blankets. Reb Zusha goes to sleep on the corner on the floor, and it was very cold. So Reb Zusha was cold. So it turns up to heaven. And Reb Zusha never said,
Can I correct you right now? You don't mind?
No, go ahead.
Because I want you to remember the story forever. So where you are, I'll come back to it. The Heilige Rebbe Reb Zusha comes to visit the Rebbe Reb Yeager. So Rebbe Reb Yeager says to Zusha, want you to know, I have a bed and 15 blankets, and I also prepared for you a bed with 15 blankets, so you don't have to worry. Everything is under control. So the Rebbe Reb Zusha says, Zusha does not sleep in a bed in the sukkah. Zusha wants to sleep on the holy floor, right? Reb Yeager says, what do you mean on the holy floor? It's cold, you won't last. He says, Zusha will take care of himself. Okay, the Rebbe Reb Yeager is lying under the 15 blankets and still shivering. And the Heilige Rebbe Reb Zusha is lying on the floor. And the Rebbe Reb Yeager is not falling asleep yet. He wants to see how long is this Rebbe Zusha going to last. Suddenly he hears the Rebbe Zusha says, okay, here you come in.
So it tells, God says, Reb Zusha is cold, freezing. So there's a heat wave, a little heat wave comes in into the circle. It heats up a little bit, but it's very cold. Passes time a little bit, so Reb Zusha again turns up to heaven, and Reb Yeager hears him again. Reb Zusha is still cold. There's coming another heat wave. This time already Reb Yeager feels a little bit hot under the 15 blankets, so he takes off a couple of blankets. And Reb Zusha is continuing like that. So Reb Zusha is still cold. So it comes a heat wave, and he continues like that until Reb Yeager already took off all the blankets, and suddenly he turns to Reb Zusha, Reb Zusha, stop! You'll put the sukkah on fire!
Wow. Not so simple. You see, Reb Zusha never said the word I. When he talked about himself, he would say Zusha.
Yeah? Did you say at the end that Zusha told Reb Yeager something like he was bringing the warmth of, was it from Gan Eden or something, and if he would have let him go...
No. Mama Sheno here, Gewalt. Tzvi didn't tell what Chassidim said when they heard the story. Chassidim said, oh, Reb Zusha, why did you stop? Why did you stop? You could have warmed the whole world, right? Such a deep story, Sometimes it gets warmer, then they get all shook up and we stop.
What's the difference between saying Reb Zusha is cold or I am?
For him, there's only one I. I am the Lord, right? God. Dutich is talking about someone Zusha, it says Zusha, right?
Like a small child.
Huh?
Like a small child.
Also true. You see, for us, the word I is the most important word in our life. Sadly. I once got a letter from someone, one of the so-called Jewish leaders. Never seen anything like it. It was a long letter. Every sentence began with the word I. It's nishmasik to die. He's in the egg business, right? Well, I kid him. You know, in German, an egg is called an eye, right? Okay, let's learn a few minutes about lulav and esek. And it's really not important that we should learn all the laws, how they have to look like, because you don't buy it on a Chinese marketplace, you buy it in a Jewish bookstore and they will tell you what it is. What is important that, mamash, you have to have it. Mamash, you have to.